Hey everybody, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So I did a call out on the channel asking if you guys had questions about what I labeled the spiritual awakening of the US in 2026. So I was just curious to see what kind of questions you guys would have when it comes to what are we waking up to in the United States. Exactly. So I haven't read through the questions. My sister put this together. I'm sure they're amazing. They always are. So I'm really looking forward to having this conversation. We have a little bit of a description first, a little intro, and then how many questions do we have? It looks like 24. So really good number. Okay, let me do the prayer and we'll get started. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light. And ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel. I got fur on my face. Our community, the lead team collective, so does all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team. Thank you so much for all the guidance and support of our community. Really appreciate it. So we've got questions here regarding what I'm just calling the spiritual awakening of the U.S. in 2026. Do you have any interest in answering these for us? Sometimes they'd be funny and say, no, not really. Yes, they do. Okay, awesome. And as always, you can refrain from answering if there's something that's not in our highest and best interest, okay? Yes, okay. All right, so let's take a look. So as we look ahead to 2026, many are sensing a profound shift in the spiritual fabric of the United States. Moving away from old systems of power, this is where it feels like the shift is coming and the old systems of power are panicking, hence the approach that they're taking, and towards a new collective awareness. So today we're exploring the Great Awakening through the eyes of our community, asking your questions about the dissolution of old norms, or dissolution, dissolving of old norms and the rise of a more compassionate society. Fingers crossed, right? From political transformations to the actions of peace seekers on the ground, we seek to understand what this pivotal year requires of us as individuals and as a unified collective. All right. Question number 1. Is the rapture mentioned in the Bible actually a symbolic representation of this great awakening? Yes. Yes. Does that surprise anybody? I mean, I know what a rapture is, but I can't even tell you that I read it ever. That part of it that's mentioned in the Bible. Wow. Yes. Okay. Conversation about this, you guys. That's interesting. Did the spiritual awakening process for the U.S. population actually begin back in 2008? Yes. Yes, it did. Did it start earlier than 2008? No. Okay. Was it even enhanced more in 2012? That seems to be a pretty pivotal year. Yep, 2012 as well. Okay. Does our fear pull us back into darkness and away from the awakening process? It's funny, they were saying yes, and they went no, and now they said yes. Okay. Was that question, could that question have been interpreted different ways? Yes, that's why they were going back and forth. Okay. Does our fear pull us back into darkness? Let me just ask that. Does our fear pull us back into darkness? No. Does our fear move us away from the awakening process? No. So what's the yes part about it then? Does our fear... I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see this one. So they're saying, okay. They're saying no, our fear does not pull us back into darkness. No. Is fear though a 3D reality? That is a 3D emotion. Yes. Okay. But we still, is fear a part of the awakening process? Oh, maybe that's what yes. So fear is a part of it. Is darkness a part of the awakening process? Yes. Is seeing darkness a part of the awakening process? Yes. See, I'm challenged here because I go back and forth. Like I'm reading a lot of spiritual books. And now I'm reading a book from someone in our community who wrote a book about, and it's actually quite, really good writing too, about her experience with her daughter being trafficked. And she wrote this book. She lived in Texas. Hi, if you're still listening. It's real. I just started reading it. But I'm kind of like, am I supposed to be reading this? Like, it's very 3D, right? It's like, it's dark, although the writing is really good. So are we meant to become aware of things that have been happening in the 3D by reading a book like this? Yes. Is it in my best interest to continue reading this book? Oh, it is. Okay. I just thought maybe I was reading it because I was starting to get bored, just like I need a little drama, which is ridiculous, right? They're saying yes. But, I'm aware of that, Oh, okay. Good questions. Will people start to feel this shift in an unmistakable way that can no longer be dismissed as a fluke? Yes. Great. Is spiritual awakening defined as an awareness that there is more to us than just our physical bodies? Yes. And that's a human description. That's a human description. Yeah. Would you guys, from a spiritual perspective, do you agree with that description? Yes? Okay. All right. But the interesting thing is, I kind of feel like, isn't it to me, it's more than awareness. It's actually living. Isn't like spiritual, like a spiritual awakening? Well, let's just say a completion of the awakening might be we actually live as if we remember on a regular basis that we are here for a short time, that this is not really who we are. Yes. Because that's, to me, the challenge, when you get back to like what, this dimension, Okay, will more than 20% of the population in the US fully awaken in 2026? Yes. And I think it depends on how you consider awakened, right? I think for me, will 20% of the population be fully awake to what the reality has been for many people, even if it's not like in our own experience, like fully awake of what's kind of been going on? Yes. So we've got that as part of the spiritual awakening. Is that necessary for part of the spiritual awakening? Yes. Okay. Is this why we're seeing so many things that just feel so awful to us right now? Yes. Okay. Will spiritual awakenings in 2026 cause new social systems to be implemented that serve humanity over money? Yes. In 2026? Yes. They're already talking this digital coin thing. What is that called? Stable coin. I don't really know much about it. But, it's interesting. Will nonviolent disruptive strategies like labor strikes finally tip the balance of power back towards true democracy? Wow, yes. So it's really going to take more and more people standing up. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Did anybody go to the protests on Tuesday? I saw one where I live on Saturday. I actually forgot about it. But I haven't seen anybody talking about it, the one on Tuesday. There was supposed to be one on Tuesday, but it was really cold here, so I don't know where I'm at. So did anybody go to that? I'll have to see how many people showed. I wish they wouldn't do them on Tuesdays. I just think it takes the power away. That's just my personal opinion. Like Saturdays, a lot of people can attend, more people can attend. Will the U.S. choose a different type of government where a female leader plays a major role? Yes. Yay! Just feminine energy. I mean, even if it's a male leader that has more balanced feminine energy would be nice. Yes. Will the U.S. begin to ban the poisons that have been placed in our food systems? Yes. Yes. So are we going to start putting more emphasis on health than meeting corporate financial goals? Yes. Thank goodness. Will the collective awakening eventually lead to the dissolution of organized religion? Wow. Yes, but that will, like in the next 25 years? Yes. Interesting. Oh, that'll be interesting. I mean, that's going to be really hard for people. So, we're going to need to be supportive for people who, learn something new, something different. Because that's a hard one. That's going to be a hard one. Cut, clear, cancel. I guess it doesn't have to be. Is the real soul contract of America nearing a state of unity consciousness? Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. Cool. Will the spiritual awakening lead us to support Native Americans and their rights more actively? Nice. Yes. Yes, it will. Will anti-Semitism continue to increase during this transitional year? Yes. So just be aware of that. Entertainment purposes only and allegedly. Does having a prejudice against others hamper a person's energetic progress towards 5D? Yes. So just recently I've been talking, every time I get like a little hint on a question or we're talking about something, it's about, it's really when you have your own intuition, right? But everybody else does too. And we have to allow everybody, people around us especially, that we're judgmental of if they don't follow the path we think they should follow, right? Because they're following their intuition. Not always. I mean, I'm sure some people need a little guidance or whatever, but our own, it's a control thing. Like, when are we being controlling and when are we allowing? It's allowing versus controlling, right? Which I'm not a parent, but I can imagine that's probably the biggest challenges with parenthood. I can imagine that would be pretty challenging. Let's see. Will the collective values of our society fundamentally change in 2026? Yes. All right. Will the spiritual insights brought forward in 2026 lead to temporary conflict? Yes. So keep that in mind. Temporary conflict. And that doesn't mean physical. It just means yes. Okay. I mean, we're not quite through that. We're at beginnings now. So a lot of stuff has come up. I'm seeing a lot of conservatives who are on YouTube change, they're not happy with Trump at all. And so it's just that, and they're even talking like, this is us. I don't hate saying versus or against, but everybody is recognizing that I'm hearing from, whether people were left or right with the political scene, that everybody is starting to realize, not everybody, but the people I'm aware of and listening to, regardless of who they voted for, who they supported, everybody's becoming aware that they did this to us. They are the ones who wanted us to be fighting against each other, but we're all like, no, we're not doing that anymore. So that's cool. That's cool. Doesn't mean I, agree with other things that they say, but that's fine. We don't need to be fighting with each other, though. If conflict occurs, will it ultimately lead to a total renewal of the country? Yes, even if conflict occurs. Yes. Okay, very good. And I'll just ask, is it likely that the U.S. will become taken over by an authoritarian leader permanently? No. Okay. So will we live under an authoritarian system in the U.S.? No. All right. Will we live in a similar country run by a government similar to Hungary right now? No. Similar to Russia? Nope. Okay. Good. Good. There we go. Will the truth about 9/11 be a part of the spiritual revelations in 2026? No. Will we ever fully know the truth of 9/11? Yes. Will we only know the truth when we're all living in 5D, basically? Is that when the truth because we'll be able to see it? Yes. Okay. Are there specific souls on earth now, specifically to lead humanity's ascension? Yes. Are there souls on earth specifically here to prevent humanity's ascension? Yes. Why? Free will? Is that why? Yes. Did Source, the collective Source, know that was going to, well, they must have. It's in the Akashic Records. Yes. Okay. All right. Know that they would come down and try to do that? Yes. Okay. Were they hoping that they would do better? Yes. Okay. Make different choices? Okay. Yes. Does daily meditation help accelerate the path to spiritual awakening? Yes, because it's really, again, about, at least my interpretation, the connection, right? So the more you can calm your brain, the more you are not living in the density, because if you can meditate and make that connection, right? All right. Will our telepathic communication abilities increase during this time in 2026? No. Will it start to increase, though, every year a little bit as we move further into the future? Yes. Will we all have telepathic communication, those who live in the 5D on Earth? Will we all experience telepathic communication? Yes. Is that something our bodies have to get used to and our nervous systems have to get used to? Yes. And is that a part of the ascension process? Is the slow getting used to the physical changes? Yes. So we don't want to rush it, right? Are more people expected to awaken in the first half of 2026 than the second half? No. So more people will awaken in the second half of 2026? Yes. Okay. Will the monks currently walking for peace from Texas to Washington, D.C. help more people achieve spiritual awakening? Yes. Very cool. I didn't even know that was happening. So very cool. I got to look that up. All right, you guys. So, very, very interesting. Thank you so much for your questions. If you haven't subscribed and you're interested in these conversations, that's all we're doing is having conversations. This isn't a place to come for like right or wrong answers. It's a place to explore how you feel about certain things and what your guidance is. That's what you're here to explore. So you're here to explore your own inner guidance as I'm exploring mine. There's nobody here to say this is how things are, okay? Because it's all about exploration and, you know, living our, really just how to live in our best light, basically. So, but also fun to find out some things, I think. So, all right, take care. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.